is no doubt in this tiny shell, and everything is growing up tight. There's no room to breathe.
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Our Island Home, where we talk about all things knitting. If you're new here, hi, welcome, and my name is Lydia. So before we move on to my finished objects, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what I'm wearing. I had finished this and described a little bit about this in my previous episode. However, this is the Kutovakika's Seashore Blouse. It's made in Bendigo Woolen Mills Cotton Crush in the colour Neptune Crush, and it's a beautiful sort of blue grey colour. Very easy wearing and slightly oversized. I made this in the size small, using 4mm needles for the body and 3mm for the bands, which are nice little decorative bands, and it's finished off around the neck with an I-cord. So my first finish object, which I spoke about in my previous episode, is the Pi Camisole, and this is it here. That's the back. I won't go into too much detail. If you want to know a little bit more about it, I did describe it in my previous episode, but it is made again in 100% cotton, called Cotton Crush, in the colour Apple Pie Crush. So I'm looking forward to wearing this. We're going into sort of winter now here where I live, so I won't have an opportunity to wear this this season. So it will be ready for spring and summer for later on in this year. So the next thing I want to talk about are my works in progress. Again, I'd shown you this in my previous episode. This is my Wishbone Sweater by Kutovakika. I think last time we spoke, I had just joined in the round, and now I've finished off the body and am currently finishing off the first sleeve. So that's looking really nice. I did, however, I made a couple of errors, and I've had to do a little bit of, I'm not sure what you would call it, but it's sort of like overstitching in order to fix the problem. When I had actually finished the whole of the body, I was holding it up like this in front of me, and I noticed that a couple of the actual cables were going in the wrong direction. So I was faced with having to rip back probably, more than half or 3/4 of the jumper, which I wasn't very keen to do, or find an option sort of to try and fix it. So I did do a bit of Googling and looking at YouTube, and I found a little video which showed how to sort of overstitch so that you could change or make it look like you've changed the direction of the actual cable. So I did take some photos of before and after, which I will put up here, but I'll just point out to you, there's 3 spots where I made a mistake. Let me know what you think. So it's there, that bit there, and just here, as you can see there, I need it to go over in this direction and in that direction there. So I think it looks okay. It's in the back, so unless you sort of know it's there, I'm hoping no one will actually tell. And if they're looking at my jumper that closely, they probably shouldn't be that close to me. So what can I tell you about this? I did some German short rows in the back so that the front is a little bit less sort of up in your neck. I'm using the recommended 5mm needles for the body. The yarn that I'm using is Bendigo Woolen Mills Whisper range in the colour Cloud, which is a DK weight, and it's a 100% superfine merino wool, and I'm holding it with the Lilt Silk Mohair, also by Bendigo Woolen Mills in the shade Silverstone. So that is my first work in progress, and hopefully next time we speak I should have this finished. The next sweater that I'm continuing to work on, again, I showed you this last episode and I was probably around this point, and so have almost completed the ribbing. I think I've got a couple more centimetres to do there, and then I will start on the sleeves. So I'm looking forward to finishing these two jumpers soon. The weather's still fairly mild here in Victoria, but we have had some cold days, probably not cold enough to wear these sorts of jumpers, but I do want to make sure that they're completed in time for our winter. So this jumper is made out of the Bendigo Woolen Mills Classic range. I'm holding 2 strands of DK weight or 5-ply together in the colour Silver and the colour Classic. As I mentioned last time, I did have a lot of this in my stash. I had made another jumper out of it, or started anyway, and I didn't really like the way it was looking, so I ripped it all back and am repurposing this particular colour as well. So I've still got a lot of this, so I'm thinking I probably will be able to get maybe another 1 or 2 colour work jumpers out of it. So I'll just have to find some new patterns to make in the future. So this classic wool is probably their least soft yarn. It does work up quite a dense fabric, and because I'm sort of using 2 DK weight strands held together, it's got a lot of structure and very nice definition. And I've read though that once you sort of wash it and block it, it does tend to soften up. So hopefully that will be the case. But it will be quite a warm jumper because obviously you've got all the floats at the back, which add additional strength and warmth to the jumper. Yeah, so really enjoying my Wintersoul sweater, knitting that up. And my next work in progress is the James Sweater V-neck. I think I mentioned this to you last time that I was considering doing this in this particular wool. It is an acrylic multi-wool mix in pink and black flecks, and you can see the little black flecks moving through. It is a DK weight. However, I wasn't quite sure whether or not it would really work out with this yarn. The James Sweater by Calibri by Joanna actually calls for a bulky weight yarn, and the needles are quite large. They're 6.5mm, and I did do a gauge swatch using this yarn and that size needle, but it was way too gapey and open. So what I did do is I dropped down to 5.5mm needles, and I did a swatch and essentially did some math to adjust what size I would need to knit up in order to get the size that I wanted. So I'm actually knitting up the large, and by the time that's all finished, hopefully it will fit me as a small size. So I'll just show you what I've done so far. So this is the back. Hopefully you can see that. It's got a nice cable. It is going to be quite a lightweight sweater. I didn't want to go too much smaller with the needles, so I think it will be fine. It doesn't get very cold here where I live, so hopefully this will keep me nice and warm, and if not, I can always put sort of like a long sleeved top underneath or a camisole top, etc. So that is the back, and I've picked up already for the left hand front panel, as you can see here. So the next thing obviously I'm going to do is pick up for the right hand side, and then that will be joined in the round, and the remaining part of the body will be knit up. So hopefully you can see that cable pattern there. It's quite a simple pattern. So it's, yeah, I'm quite happy with the way it's working up, and look forward to showing you a little bit more about it. I'm considering casting on another jumper or sweater, depending on where you live. So again, I've got quite a bit in my stash, and I've had this yarn, which is a bamboo wool mix, so 50-50. It is again a Bendigo Woolen Mills, and this yarn is no longer available. So I've had this for probably, I'd say, 5 years in my stash, and I've just not had, haven't been sure what to make of it. It is an Aran weight yarn, and I've only got 2 cakes of this, so they're around about 200 grams each, and I've got probably about 3 or 4 of this colour here. So this colour is called Moonstone, and the pinkier one's called Tourmaline. So what I've decided to do, or at least try, and I think I should have enough, is to make the key sweater by Petite Knit. Based on what I saw in Ravelry, they were using 2 different yarns, and they gave a couple of different combinations that you could use, but in total it would result in an Aran weight yarn. So I thought, let's give this a go. So I would use this colour, the Moonstone, as sort of the black that is in the image, and I would use the Tourmaline as the contrasting colour, or the stripes that go across. So let me know what you think. Do you think that will look nice? I like these colours. I think they work well together. So we'll see how it goes, and hopefully in my next episode I'll have at least started and can show you what it's looking like. So that's really it for today in terms of knitting. I do have one acquisition. Excuse me, I'll just grab over here. So a couple of weeks ago, well actually last week, it was Mother's Day, and my kids bought me this beautiful leather knitting needle holder organiser. It's by Redesigned. It's beautifully embossed here, and it's got lovely little clips here, and in this beautiful tan leather. They do have different leather colours. So I've just started to organise my cables and my exchangeable needles. I haven't finished filling it all up, but as you can see, there is a space here to hold your cables and your knitting cables there. Little pouches which I've put in sort of the ends of my interchangeable needles. It's got quite a number of pockets, where you can put various bits and bobs. And again, similar, to hold more cables, and a little pouch to hold things in. And then there are these slots which you can use probably for crochet hooks or interchangeable needles. So I've put my interchangeable needles here, and as I add to my collection, I will fill up this bit as well. I've got quite a number of crochet hooks as well, but they've got their own little pouch. So this was an absolutely beautiful gift by my children. So love it very much, and I'm sure I'm going to get extremely good wear, or good use. I'm not going to be wearing it. Good use of this leather pouch. So I think that's it for today. It was a short and sweet video. So hopefully I'll see you next time. And yeah, see you later, everyone.